aba e de Great Commission TV eso ebraso sense ma hodo man mu de ama hodo so de ya osamufo ahwe no sokroje ne hwe de bebeso mo say enwumre no sia ka se boy ato ne di Paramount News no na me ka wo se ene eye kotoni mu aboso me de to so eduonu mienu wa fipinu ene eduonu ensiemu enti na brana so say we hwe ne de kasebo no aba wa ko me ka wo se eye Great Commission TV nyame adom ene satellite ne ye demu ye po enti bo modern scan TV no ne hu ye so so e wo hono no so betimi aboa wo afen so social media handles no eye TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, X ye wo hono mo enti ne bo modern na abraka se bo etwegu wo hono mo enso so nti bo rem na like bo modern se obehye amofofro so enye bi ahwe ne hu ne ekoso na afen so wi a comment no bo modern fa to comment section no asem ye behye akenkan e de amane mum no hye ne so ma me so be makasa no ho atese de be ya ye betumi akenkan e de amane se ne sam no do so enanwumre ye hye ne a ebedi mu akotin no ebie.
Professor Jane Opoku Ajimai Echemwa Ghana ye public transport no ehu be hia se be pagem de be boa ye economy ni pa
ora red of every far or e dia to eye landlord for enim say mo hwe efira no mo mbo modern say mo be hwe na etumi krata mo kwakwaje our rent control na no so amamu 2 million amamu tumi e de dan am tenant for no
Ghana ambassador to US and a photo ediama visa applicant for no chemwa say no mo call for visa interview na omonta de shemono eya moma enkoyi kakra
Public Account Committee and no share dia to so for share sikasem so say one share na pe kwan bia abefu kwan so be share na aban no e ka bia odede bia no ka afi bia no be share tintim e hono ensem no dia to enkonko ba no say bia aban no e be free so ansana ye ni betu aka hensem afi so no na e bia akokofo so na ye de 9 akokoda ne 6 no so e kokoyera o e ka e de ama online no
dom kuma to be amane eye dom kase e o mahye bedwa mu ne nyina ne say eye unemployment na e koso no enkoyi intebeya omohwe no me bibi enfa
Senate and Eddie to John, which I said, and send me and number one of Eka some hotels, some Thompson, the Caribbean intimate, some man for the Tiffy or Manoa, Yenso, no Caribbean anymore.
A vice NDC vice chairman and the Futokesi, and my Yenu Mozambique for say a fashion mubabedi, a momodia, some of the machine ye, the few matching a ben Allah.
Woko kopia mu ewo manso a eye onimonya for assembly member wo hon wahwe abomode edi generator kokoma eye manso edubiase SHS nti obomode edi se adwuma we mu chechiremu wo bete
ye de kase abo no beko obi man so eye Kenya court no edi eye nkwada omomfie enkwanim efa eye agrodi empem agrodi na de adea no eye atembo no omde abai ewiye
Yedi kaseba baba ye ni jedi mu ensemu na music ga omahwe ama Nigeria de sha wonum ewo Nigeria so aponu mu ebia bepepe mu Ghana omoba ya teto mabeye eye omoba ko aprobo e de afa eba no kwansra ho ensemu ano so omba behwe akọ ho aprobo na ho adesua emu nsem ni nyina eka ho ensem bi eka we ho na nanwumre ma mienu we ye sister safe yaka ye ho abomu e de ba wakomu se ye nanwumre ye no nsia aka se ba ya to the Paramount News na mo hye ne enso emfa ema ye se enyumako bi adaro me no mahwa so ya sense kafem enti ye hwe ne fast da ema enyumako ye
moma yenda dwumako ya se sika fem omo ana so ya sen ema ye de no nsia aka se bo ye de eso mo wo efide kese so eni bre me bi sa so ya de be na etete wo ya de be na how so your stroke, diabetes, asthma, poor blood circulation, wo kidney ne ho aba how ana wo sisi na ya wo ya ana wo spinal cord no how aba ho wo ba mayo no ensese so ya me kanfo eye Allah savior and herbal center at the amount omo de bibi dro no ana omo de tu yade na ase efi ho no mo de bia meka cho se lale kwefo no aba enti omo wani anda ho omo ya bukata edro no be ma waje usika na so ba enye atwuma me pa cho mo ashaiman omo ben access bank no mo de afre omo e was 0240409991 if 0200623038 and 0576 656 658 toothpaste ben and I would actually say and upon a day and I would actually say and then ratio kwakwa day toothpaste ben I would kwakwa say but more than a papa no na papa no Enagard medicated toothpaste and I make for Eddie Mouth and kwada you so and penny you so would the chew say Emma and Kana wo no no any kapa we Emma or Bema angel or Basu angel or Baba Jawa and Bama Beja and Canabano and Yenika me patch up more than I show much up on why prempe mat Jensen Health Center behind Guelph Filling Station Osu Oko Eya Hana Stores Eben Power FM Osu Ho Benyabi FA Eya Great Commissioner Bronsai Namu Opebako, mienu miensa kwapem edu a hoso benya. Efe uba farm global ventures ebe announce joint for the road. E hoso benya bi. Uko the mall ho e hoso benya bi. Upedu etu akoton enya fa so bebre me patwa kwanya no ho. Momode afrem penifo e was 0244 425804 0244 425804.
Go same travel and toss and make for the amount of the four. And a cocopium elkotoka be a sham agent at Bia Honoma. Who could be star air going to phone now more corner my crowd or more corner, could be some saying fan. And now motion air a going to crack a home some back say go same travel and toss. I'm pastor son. A Jumako Eddie Jumapa air going to some home and crack a samba share. I'm a home other yoko and after Bobby to connect us was so by yes when you should be to talk no could do coincing. Now, for instance, who's a woko when you was all with you, Debbie. We're not much as I would almost so much. You made the Amudu film. I want to say Bibia Kosuyo, Eddie Amawa, Ebama, Quentu, I so easy, Eddie Amawa, nothing so, and who I any custom Eddie Amawa, Mr. Gosam travel and toss, a Jumedio Mudi Ebini, say a visitors visa, students visa, a business visa, tourist visa renewal, and a sponsorship bank statement for all visas, birth certificate, business certificate, and a passport. You know, Bashem, Eddie Hujuma, Eddie Amawa, but home with Chirakwine, our Nungua Cantamanto, our Great Commissioner, Busankesin Moon, our Airboard Road Honomo. From 24 hours 0244 425804 0244 425804 and as I bear for to thank you send us so go ahead and go same travel and tours at gmail.com. The Aya Media and Professional Institute and make for Edama one day. Since Century Juma and I will issue a dihuno, will ban war fast and will use your upon us will be to Sosuku Yibi. Now say that in a new Sadihuana and a Dyson, so a son brand number than in Century Nima Papa dear, and a man finding the entry baby. A son say, Lalake for no more, or much umbrage, it's as in Century here. But one day school dear, near here is a walk on papa no, and actually say no adidin, and no son Bashana practically no model of film as in theory no, if so baby a field and I will be called. And to the Aya Media and Professional Institute make a fair amount and they enumerate adult literacy so much share at the AM penny for FM since when you be was so one and as all for now and if you do any now pass a beer na can kind natural and then the bro for canum and mu epijan hoka crana but more than the fan ebe pm when the one crane say bosom and 19 pe natural some the na fancy one is waba bay or pabinet as a wabin no quadare ewa entity no emu sanso so no and wa oba for essential ejuma no so no e hontete no and so bosom and 19 na de woman na me me de pan say fiti juada kwesi ne memene da edwuma dia wudi bi ese wo ho kwan so betimi edi na mo da kwesi ada pa na mu hia e de efre wo ha wo de ba bepie mu e wo no akache no ma hwe e de wo afa wo tetie mu kama bo so me 90 na kire so mo ne wo awie a wo benya wadwuma aye ne ho enkonko ya wo den e wo ho no mo hwe kire kwan e wo Great Commission e TV abrosan kese no mu ye ne e Saint Micro Primary School na kese ye ben frem panyifo e wo 0544 713 929 misisu bi 0544 713 929 entino enne enwumre no sia ka se ba ye de ba besumu ye mamienu ene ye je egua e de ba wakọ emu se ba be kinka no sia e de amawo me edi ameje so ene Shafatu Muhammad SM for short mini aba
Emma Kasamafu Yamasa Yenjina Eya Abuafo Nkratwa iso ne yentwa ya hosema se ye ba ye de ensam no ebesomo for the master sama jebre atwen ama ye twa ye ho aba moma ye mfa ensam no ensom ne ye de ensam no esomwa ne ye ko eye enkwan popo ne mantemo eye vice president adema oman Ghana Professor Jane Nana Opoku Ajimai and I didn't send be atuja ochema Ghana ye public transport no so ye pejema ebeboa ye economy ni papa or the ensami tujwa e Metro Mass head officer abra oko commission eye buses ne dodon eye oha edema Metro Mass Transit Limited aye twanitia aye MMTL na ochemu ase ye transport system no epejane mu na agina yi a ebema manfo ne fe ye goods and services no and also epejane mu yi e wo man Ghana mu.
When our transport system is efficient, people, goods and services move as they should. That is why enhancing public transport is central to our economy. Our aim is to decrease dependence on unreliable, unsafe, and overly expensive transport options. These buses will increase carrying capacity, extend service to more communities, reduce pressure on commuters, and provide them with a more dignified experience. I'm also informed that they are fuel efficient and are designed for passenger safety and comfort. That is the standard we must maintain across the public transport system. We expect future procurements to increase local content and create more opportunities for Ghanaian technicians and engineers and for local manufacturing and assembly. My hope is that as we go forward, at least in Ghana, we'll produce one or two of the parts that come together to form the bus. We expect MMTL to match this investment with efficient scheduling, professional driving.
Yet one more and Sam Noswana, Director of Communications and Corporate Affairs for National Tenant Union of Ghana, Owura Reno of a free far or Warren. Now what you say, Hannah Papa, so what say, I bring over to say 10 if you run away, no muntel and ya, and what Tim Wakam be a man honomation, what I say, wash and rather say, made a ketwa baby. Naturally, I am the Ghana, so if you run, and any tenant and yasam could I feel the Kobias and tenant, wash written in Quaya, you're still winning and Kenya, and was said, it's in a watcher says, I shall rent act at a year 220. I am right at one if you run any tenant, no, and who buying. Yeah, no, tell to me, I walk around, I share my yoke working now. Then go ban some better as I say, Obi, and then the Pranasa Obi, and then the time for said there be, and to one numbness I saw, and if you to Adam, if you run, so Madaroma, where they are the shredder or the mamma, Pamon share, and son, I'll bet to me at the dying, and the will be some rabbit tenant to you know what they say. We can register our rent control department, I'll bring it to me crata, Ebama to me, I'm out there, this said you man, or said to me cratan, and what one can say if you run, home by, and I face on, will find with you anyway, Japan, home by Sansonum, and then can be soon, and share what tenant and also, and home Ebana, Ora, run off every far, ever modern in some way, Nina Etuja, our Great Commission TV, so Abra, not a Great Commission, just a money show, who paid them for, or my Ghana had we say ye. I was share Edituja, your money share to the Ghana who do you maybe, ya, that's just a marcus and more for, I didn't draft a fair, now one more someone no share yet, and in some way, Nina Etuja.
Come once some na Rent Act at 220 no. Mra ebo ne we japade ho ban. And ebo tenant no so ne fa ho die ho ban.
Okay.
Enti se odi samra no so a ebeboa wo efiura no enso bebre.
Okay.
Enti se oye wadwen so de dan no be kan ebe han kwa dia current control department.
Okay.
Ayen krata kitwe bi pe utimi A4 ubiemu A5 ukambo ma A5 ubiemu A4 ubetro enya mpo na betimi untimi nchira uba bi betimi achiro unue bi betimi achiro na tenants na oba be we no munyina mo be ho na no ni bibia ne records wo so se na be ya sa records no ebeboa na sam to a na mwamie no etimi asolve empempi no esan se sikasem wo mu nti obi eneje nti yentimi nkwa agreement bia nti se obetena fie no wie na issues ba na fina issues no ba ontimi handle obekọ rent control no already no watimi ebu mra no so deda nti won se ye de mra edi ukakra na wo se fair system no nya fair to landlords but ye mra mu asem yemua yenyina yemboa ne yasetene mu ne yenhyehyɛ a yenyina no yemboa ne yentimi ntina
for Ghana ya ambassador to United States Emmanuel Victor Smith and I didn't send me atuja no chema visa applicant no so yam ko visa interview na omo chade hyem na ya nya kono obi wa mpaboa bi o hye na achia obi wo so atade o hye eni nyina wan etiri mu nyina ya basa na nso so de call visa interview no ko na ya disqualify na o si ni fiefo ene no eno nti Ghana for share so wo call interview visa interviewer eya mun tade shem na ya mun tutu ne ye na enye fe or the cemetery dwa abra o chem say visa appointment no etopia emu twen be ya afe baako ansa na etumi abemu na enti no mo hwa na mo ya careful ana mo ya hwe ye o chema visa appointment na ya eteke be ya afe baako no ni nyina afa World Cup in Senseme ho eno nti ama ye interview omo ko World Cup na ye applicant ni nyina e ama aye tournament na ansa na ahyase kra no chema World Cup no aka bosom ba akopɛ na ye de hye so eno nti se wo ko for interview na obesere intade hye no ya omo hwe ni kakra
more appointment 1 year ahead.
Yeah.
And this one, more because of World Cup. World Cup, it is time bound. The TBN say you interview all those who are applying for the World Cup, before it starts. And World Cup is just about less than a month away. And they were rushing, but then the procedure is the same. What the interview officer expects from you is just like when there was no World Cup. America. That's the starting point. America is a huge country, 51 states. Where will somebody find you? So the procedure is the same. They want to be sure, the interviewing officer, that you are tied enough to Ghana to come back. This will say, Abna, a good radio station. Until the Americans say, you multimedia, you will come back to Ejuma. But there are others who are hustlers. Almost try. Now, at one point, I had to advise some, say, when you're going for an interview, look good. Why be your hustler? Just when you see what I did at how can the guy give you the visa? He just deny you in seconds. So you dress properly, at least. And I expect that people will have good intentions. So this will be a hustle because I see for me will be and yeah, say we see it almost every and I say put on my calm down. I don't know whether during the World Cup they will calm down completely, but they tackle people to the ground in shopping malls. I'm not with Jamaica. How can you be living like that? Because almost try to say say those who don't have anything to contribute to America per se, stay in your country.
Yatwa kasebo no so anatitene ni edema public account committee mo emra oman imra sebedefie ene onmonyamfo abna osei asare na ende won krapupuni mantem hanum sei na wo hwe ede atodwa ede akira aswe ya ehwe esikasam so for da no ene owura Dr. Kesala to forcing wada to nim so won hwe na abra aban eti so ya anya hwe kra nka afibia no one shall say a cabiara ya buying a bed in one share, na abe for console be fasu dating team na and on our hon must records no, na and on a bet me abwa, my master say in your essence say, or metanus neck canon, pilan air pile egu honum, because say be a buying a free son, now for the yama busy passan, quota some eba, now for the 9 or quack baby, na quack than 6, a banistana or minum, and a year share abwa a home eka, into a some way to Jana what I say, washa. Just when no air quampa, and they share my baby to me. I buy me a better who a car what day, and I say, it's could be at my fun in Sass and they are shame. I'm a no yet in agent of Ranano, no, I share it to a car or bra, no alter a buy no more. Into the air on Munyan for Abna or say, as Sarah Brown in some way to Jono, yan shen some you any Afrophobia or share a car at the car.
Softness on wrongdoing. The committee remains deeply concerned about recurring infractions within the public service, including unsupported expenditures, procurement breaches, weak internal controls, delayed retirement of interest, payroll irregularities, and in some instances, the deliberate padding of invoices and inflation of claims. These issues are not merely accounting errors. They undermine public trust and weaken confidence in state institutions. We therefore wish to remind all public servants and civil servants that accountability begins long before one appears before the Public Accounts Committee. It begins at the point of decision-making, documentation, procurement, certification, and payment approval. Every public officer must appreciate that public funds are sacred funds. The future of public financial management in Ghana will depend not only on laws and systems, but also on personal integrity, ethical leadership, and professionalism within the civil service and public institutions. The Ministry of Finance is encouraged to find cost-effective means for training all public spending officers as well as middle-level officials in the requirements of the revamped Public Financial Management.
Dom kuma omo eye mashebedwemu ene etoto afre eye party A any party B sanka beya omo kambom na unemployment ekoso o manga na mo nhwe na omo toto na asomdwembra omo de ensami tudwa e leaders media briefing mashebedwemu ana mashebedweni ede ma asokwa also ye deputy minority leader honorable Patricia Apiaje ede ensami tudwa na ochema unemployment ekoso so manga na mu eya abanya oteso eya is excellency John Dramani Mahama any samanyoko no abra mo bo entoa edema general elections in 2024 no omo share eya Ghana for bo efa eya ejuma na ade ade an nanso omo dada omo emom kofo eya Ghana for koto aba ede ema omo no kira eya policies akodo a eya ndc aban ne kasa omo baba no bibi ti se ejumera ene ne keka ho ene ne omo begu akwan so na abemu no ne nyina omo ho hwe omo kira eya his excellency John Dramani Mahama and is amanyoko no mohwe na unemployment adwuma ekoso no ana engina ye wo man Ghana mu no omohwe na omototo ne yi enfemaye
and said you were giving them 1D 1F, which was a bailout. But you see, in spite of that, the factory still collapsed because they came under the weight of huge interest rates. They couldn't even get money from the banks to borrow because you were borrowing all the money from the banks. And then the interest rates were so high and inflation was so high. So at the end of the day, the businesses couldn't compete. So traders resorted to smuggling and the borders are porous, so a lot was coming in. A lot of the factories shut down and they moved to Ivory Coast. A lot of the factories started producing far, far below their capacity, which then meant that they had to retrench existing, workforce. And so it compounded the situation. If you ask factory owners, they will tell you that the greatest incentive is not a 1D, 1F, package. The best incentive is make sure interest.
And which dom kesia ewo mashebedwemu omopani mitre eye majority leader Mahama Yarega echema eye ensema eye deputy eye chief whip edema NPP amanyoko na mashebedwemu Patricia Apiaje ni semo de betwedwa no obo ni nyina tugui no chema enkane aban no so tumi ye bibi fa ho fie nwotwe omo betena so na nka Ghana enka eneye ni hanomo na mo hye eye Ghana fo nyina abo se omo de enema bebre mitre measures akodo egu akwan so ebeboa na unemployment ekoso man Ghana mu yetumi etu ase efi ho no.
You couldn't really show one factory that was greater under 1D 1F. Ultimately what we saw was that you went and picked existing factories. If they were collapsing under your watch. You went and picked existing factories and said you were giving them 1D 1F, which was a bailout. But you see, in spite of that, the factory still collapsed because they came under the weight of huge interest rates. They couldn't even get money from the banks to borrow because you were borrowing all the money from the banks. And then the interest rates were so high and inflation was so high. So at the end of the day, the businesses couldn't compete. So traders resorted to smuggling and the borders are porous, so a lot was coming in. A lot of the factories shut down and they moved to Ivory Coast. A lot of the factories started producing far, far below their capacity, which then meant that they had to retrench existing, workforce. And so it compounded the situation. If you ask factory owners, they will tell you that the greatest incentive is not a 1D 1F, package. The best incentive is make sure interest rates.
Social Security and National Insurance Trust, the Trinity Western Net, and the Atuja say in Sensembia and Nam, yetino ewa abe for Tank, no so, efa who say on hotel, Belmosha Aton. wɔn say no kura biara any sansam nti obi bia bɛte sansam we dey from ano no yɛn se ɔmo hu na we no ɛyɛ futuro bi kɛkɛ no mpɛ sɛ ɔmo ntungu Ghana for any so na no kura biara any mu wo hwɛ nkrata ba abɔntene a mpanyifo a wɔn ɛda senate yi ano kyerɛ sɛ mo hotel no nini na no kura biara enim sɛ wɔn ɛtɔ na mo ka esisu dwa sɛ Labadi Beach Hotel egusu ɛyɛ mo de amugusu ekutam ya egusu ɛwɔ mu di mu ti ɔmo tɔn ɛmfa ma wɔ bia na wɔn kyerɛ sɛ nanu yi ada na kyerɛ sɛ ɛho de wubɔ ɛkɔ so ɛwɔ ɛyɛ de wubɔ krata no ebi sɛ the Ghanaian Times ɛne Daily Graphic ɛyɛ March bosome ne da na ɛtɔ so ɛyɛ eduonum ɛnnan wafipinu ne eduoni nsia yi mu ana wɔkyerɛ sɛ saa de wubɔ na yɛhu yɛ no enye se de obo mo boso mo ton hotel o se no kro bi enim o mo ton hotel na emom no o mo de twi eye qualified consulting firms wo mo mbehwe na mo de efutuo abre won o mo no mo hia won na mo de efutuo abre management o mo hwe manage Golden Beach Hotels Limited eno so na hwe operate Lapam Royal Beach Resort and Elimina Beach Resort na fenso no busu a beach resort no nti no na mo hwe enya efutuo ye be bo atenetene na tretre edwuma no mu ama no so ehun sɛ betime gyina brane na etime tumpɔn nti ɛno ho na kyerɛ sɛ mu ho ehun sɛm ɛwɔ de obokrata na nya sɛ bia wɔnom ɛtonton ɛyɛ mo hotel so no kura biara ennim wɔ nti Ghana for some moto sansɛm we a mombo ntugu
Yenfree Aya Senate Sensami na yenko Aya Asante Mantemo Aya Alhaji Osman or your Vice Chairman at the National Democratic Congress and this Amanyo Kono Nifa Ewa Amanasi West District Ewa Asante Mantemo no and all the futoka say Adiama Yenuani Moslami for Efa Aya Afi Idi Ada Afasha Muba Bedi no Chemwa Beya Shuruko Kwante Beya Obianfa no Hushemu na Onya Ala Ninsemu Enshira na brother nsemu etudwa no kyeremu a eye afahye ye de akwakɔhye eye May 27 wo afi 2026 mu na Alhaji Osman ekyeremu a sa afahye yi gyina ho ema Prophet Abraham ni ahofama edema eye aforoba oboye edema Allah efe ɔkyeremu sɛ sa aforoba oboye yi ema omunya eye nyame mu gidie ye pa nti ɔde foto edema eye babunu no ene mpanifo mu nyina sɛ afi eye idi ada no afahye no obi amfa na ho hyiam se na be ya obetumi aben ala ye pa
so obi nkoa o se ade a Nyankopon ahyehye ato se wo hwe Abraham na oni sika odi beto odwan kura odi bebo afọ ti Nyankopon e ka se won fa ne ba emfa bo afọ re ma oji tu e de ba no e ko tu wan ka wo bo afọ re a ko twa ne ba no mene e de ama Yakopo ene Yakopo na ade udwan free esoro ayi no ade bra em de sa abokasa mu e wo Bible mu e wo Quran ena odi sa udwan no e sacrifice e ma enti eno na ya hye no so a afi bia ogidi ni bia no e se wo bo afore e ma nya enti we ya afore bo e na ye bo enti wo obi na obetima akom na 2000 kura na adoye ena wo de ba yafo because so wuku aboa na de owo nche wa nya bia nkono na wotumi ma ne bi na saa da ne nkwan hwama Nyankopon wa ma nyame abode kra no aba no nti Nyankopon be hyew ma na wa hyira wo bebre because ade a ehye ede ba yese sa wuti brono so na nyame ato nsa kumna ntwie na obi anya bewe na saa da no enye kra behwe na Nyankopon so emfa ne tuno befra na aneje emra alaji afuto we de ba man kula de se obi anyere no ho na wontro se de wo betro eno na wo de be ye wo dachi de wo de obi ma wa po na wo de tro na wo de ko na nya wo na wo ye ya e be sa ha wo dachi nti e be sre bunsu ade na mo ntimi ntro na Nyankopon so to nsupo guso esense president wo mo amotro no ye benya president ye benya minister ye benya MP ye benya vice president ewu mu nti ye gidie nyina wo mu ti be sremo mo mo ndi ya mo nsu ade ye
Yet one sound no so na we akyerɛkyerɛ for one ɛwɔ Amansia South mansi no emu ɛna akyerɛ sɛ ɔmo ka ho nsɛm yi ɔmo sɛ ɛhɔ asetena yɛ den papa ɛde ama wɔn nyinaa ɛfa ɛyɛ ɛwɔkɔ a kyerɛ sɛ kɔ bɛfa so nya baabi kra de uti ato no ɛno nso akɔkɔda ne boakyi bi din ɔmo kyerɛ sɛ efie wura no mu sika ɔmo ahwɛ ɛde ato mu paa ɛba no ɛyɛ ɛdan ho han ho nsɛm anya asɛm ketewa nti ya postu foforɔ ɛde wakɔkɔ pie mu hɔ no sɛ obenya dan no ɛnyɛ sika ketewa na ɛwɔ sɛ wundwiri ɛfa firi kotokom na ɔde ama ɔkɔbra ne sɛ so mu gye afe metina wodan mu na mo kyerɛ sɛ nyi na kɔkɔyɛ ɛyɛ nsensam a ɛmboa ɛma homohyia ho ɛnsam soso ɛntimi ɛmfa ne tamapa ɛmfra ɛwɔ hɔ nom na headmaster wɔ man so edubia senior high technical school owura Theophilus yɛboa na wakasa kyerɛ sɛ teachers for ibi wɔ hɔ posom fokra no bɛbom bɛpie mansi no mu a ɔmunya ho asase na kyerɛ sɛ ɔkyerɛ mo bɛbio ya wuchi ɔbɛgye dɛn ɔmo kyerɛ a wobɔ mobile network sɛ ɔbɛfrɛ obusuani bra obebre just ko Paramount na faja to ego ko gyina so ansana wotimi ate wo busuani ne enka afeso kra na ya kra ne so ho ana kane ano presso bubu ne se ya ebi wo wetimi ba no pa ene gye se nwumra ansana wo nsa be kom so nyina no eye hawa wono mo FSC ewo airmansin no emu na eye owura Theophilus yeboa ebo modern ono ye headmaster wo hono na assembly member ya wo hono we head teacher abra wo kokko pie mu na chance assembly member o airmanso takrase electoral area no nya for Dominic Bonsu ebo modern kokko pie mu hono no na wode generator plant kokoma school ni sa wo mo hwe na se na edum so ho sem edo so ewo hono no adesua na se ho mo hwe ho sem de eni dum so eni cheka nti obubu ebura enu nti ne ebre biara ebedum kane na wo mo hwe se wo de generator no ebe support ama ho mo hwe so ho mo hwe ho ensem so etimi egina brane na bra headmaster ekasa no yente nse bia auditu dwa
na mwa se don na waye ne ne is agye ensem na ebe ma lighting system no ye ho atoye eni nti yesi ahye bo se se do dia maye no e ko sora ahwe ne yi yetime yusu ache nti meja board anamo school management staff and entire students and near more than as far what the wire my honorable Dominic staff accommodations you are there back one a higher pa rent in the board 6,000 1 year teacher for 6,000 a higher line it's a mobile more some see down my teachers now when you prepare so actually the ama school no akonani to any more here from chain as ankrankra as stakeholders. This is the only school in the district. Yenso teacher for you. Yenso babu ya homo den na ye pemu. Achira de ama aban so enye so mfaso. Ti ye na masepa. This computer lab we need. Ni na ya dia asabamu. The old students. Mama first school no more more nyamia no. Mu school any we say we sing achinya oda.
Social studies, 95%. Husbandry, 100%. Get big, 100%. Picture making, 100%.
Eno echi ena no nya for Dominic Bonsu ono ya assembly member ewo mansi ni mu ehwo no na wokasa ede atodwa se omafo ne koma ntom yem edi se den school dia kyerɛkyerɛ for ba omse yakofie da bi onhwɛ ema accommodation ne bo enko soro se no tinum wo behwɛ na one district assembly no na afenso mpanyifo a wonum eka bia ewo mu akwakwatena se na omahwɛ ahwɛ edan ho ensensam na ne bo no omahwɛ ayehu bibi na se ehu behiampo na se omehwɛ na wa construct teachers quarters na no beboa atesa sika na omehwɛ ede ama efiewura no sika twitwiri die anya sem keto eno so ho nsem akwakwa na bra owura Bonsu ede ne sem etudwa ne sem bi se ni afoforo se no hwe ede tudwa
De mekanya ne se anso ehia no ma bebre enti minua ya wodine hai wo hwe GHS for teachers na wona waye Bangalore ade amom nti mi gidi se na teachers ye complain accommodation enye tufo na disua nya dey enko nti lighting systems aban no omo na nya dey enko ho na network situation is a network in so to ya na network atiko na ama lights out it's aban say especially our district capital Edubia it's aban say aban no moye
na ye network nsɛm ɔmo nhwɛ ma yɛ na megidi sɛ ɛbɛma yɛ education na ɛbɛka abom na ya support school no manso ya adeɛ baako pɛ wɔ ha yɛ ɛne ha yɛyi firi mu a nyɛ dɛ nyɛ yi ti kakra bi awurade yɛ adom ɔto yɛn nsɛm ebinya no yɛso yɛbɛba abɛboa ma school no so akɔ kora no aka afidie no na expenses nyinaa ɛwɔ ho ɛyɛ 100,000 from company no ɛna masa so akyerɛ mo sɛ maintenance no every month bi a ɔmo bɛ maintain ɔmo nso mafa ho ka sɛ metua ɛde abɔ school ɛna masa so ɔmo 20,000 Ghana cedis sɛ ɔmo fa mfuwɛ for 3 months and now 4 months nti ɛsa ɔmo ma yɛ so nti ne mpɛ kakra so ne de ɛnka ho mo that's na mesrɛ assembly no so sɛ
Therefore, Yenchina and Sami so near Chaya Hosma, see a bar, yet and some Rebecca Obi my soul, the fay the energy some, a song.
Nhwehwɛmu ama yɛhunu sɛ ɛnam yɛnsu asɛe na yɛnnuane enye organic ntino sɛ yɛdi nnuane wei na yɛnum nsu wei kɔ yɛ nipadua mu a yɛyɛ bebree na ɛde brɛ yɛn ne sɛ nti Hola Savior Herbal Clinic ɛnam abɔde nhwehwɛmu akɔfa eduro bi abadwama nso a yɛfa no Hola Herbal Mixture eduro ewuru ntin ɛne mmogye yɛre pɛn ɛna ntimi nsa sɛ wonum Hola Herbal Mixture na ɛkɔ nipadua mu a ɛruru wontin ɛne mmogye mu na yɛyare bia nso efi nipadua mu na ma nipadua no ahoɔden foforɔ wɔdɔfoɔ ɛntena se ma yare nka wonto hɔ ansa watam sika poduro sɛ wode kwasa won ho yare wɔbra Hola Herbal Mixture ɛwɔ hɔ eduro yi anwonwode ɛyɛ wɔ nipadua mu ntino adravafoɔ carpenterfoɔ ɛne adwadifoɔ ɛne Ghanafoɔ nyinaa agyia to sempo yakatrɛw sɛ wo yare no ɛyɛ sunsum yare a fagidie na nom Hola Herbal Mixture na wobɛnya wa yaresa
kwaje wo deɛ wɔ herbal shop ɛne pharmacy bia mu atufo mfrɛ 0240.
Ama ye twa ye ho aba sabre mo man fa seda e ma boafo ma so ya sen e ma ye no nsia ka sebo e de so mo ni bre mi bi sa so yade be na e haw yade be na eteti wo say stroke, diabetes, asthma, poor blood circulation, osisi na ye wo ya wo spinal cord no and how about how prostate enlargement and now be ma yo na sisu ya be kan fo e ye Hola Savior Herbal Center e de ama e bibidro no e no de tu yade na ase e de fi ho no be ba cho omo ye Ashaiman omo be e Access Bank no but modern friend penfo na woni omo din sa wo so e 0240409991 if 0200623038 and 0576656658. Toothpaste pen and in building a coach sans and wakoda. The patcho yanum denibia and the ebete pa become for a guard medicated toothpaste at the amount. Fetch was sent Naya Kama and what you so and penny for so a you so would you choose and I was an ifita. So I did to a cotton queen and over. The patcho more a prempemat adjacent health center behind Welfare Station Usu, who call a Hana stores a Ben Power F Usu and Hobenebi. If a great commissioner upon sign up about community and son, a papa may do a hospenya. A farm global ventures a be a nurse joint by the road also benya the fade the more who benya be me patch of Momodia friend pen for no new mundi and so 0244425804 0244425804.
God same travel and tours and airton sa ede afro was a bra. For modern of Bupium, I want to naye, I want the office and natural some bishop, one crater some, ye for a quick to win some number share, just a good muddy amawa. You move better for fine, Adam, you go enough of a interview. They said, oh, for her, and I call her, when I got to the fee, entesa if some washe aso so bibia ano ede ama washe se bibia de mu yopo ya or how bia eni ho enti no sa wo de an air visitors visa, student visa, a business visa, tourist visa, a visa renewal, sponsorship, bank statements for all visas, birth certificate, business certificate, and a passport. You know, share Eddie Mujuma, Eddie Amawa, Wankasa Winnie, Ebejemon. We home with Chira Ewo Nungwaka Tamanto, a great commissioner, Brosanke Senu, Great Commission TV, over whom one way Chira Ewo Honma Matana Cassia, a Hase and a war. From 24 0244 425804, Missy Subium 0244 425804. And that's how we have to take a sense of room, our honeymoon from a room, just also go same travel and tours at gmail.com. The Iron Media and Professional Institute, me say, and when you saw the Hununquas of some bed and in century or my Munquadia. Now, would you unite us on Titiamuno, Wuntimi and Bebenet as a Wundamu Fuadia, and for when you enter our business and the schools are also so Bena Papa, and only as a minute and then you rain, Manugusa make for air the Iron Media and Professional Institute at the Amawan, and Winter, you may be Omudi and say, I can kind at Trom and a bro for Papa, a ban a media, you want to say reporting. Nina, on Basha at the war of film, come on. So many 19 per natural say, why ya or pabin hour, which is a wakwada would be P1, just a wood one, sir, yet before be a crumple end to so. A year, adult to the school, so much a be our a friend, a adult education, and mentioned to what way war for be, was will be an Indian and as penny, if you edu enunka cran, but when if I be one say, a fan natural and I can kind and then the broth for count, on Basha Apijamu and their mother, no sooner a bit see me, I one, we go so many 19 per mobile be there's will be a fan, and also a bit me, I they don't want to say Fitanopa, and as if you do that, and copy me minute and Uber to do my beer, will share Eddie, and I could say that BPM will catch on my shadow of it to come. We're home with quite our great commission, ATV, I was like, send more on St. Michael Primary School and a pain. Samson betting my friend 24 hours 0544 713 929 0544 713 929.
Ebushia for yen fra Casiano and Co Obi Maiso. Said the Casiano call Obi Maiswane call a Kenya. Na Kenya courts na edi a year 10 sex prosecution no edi ababy ye. Kenya court that Babetudra no muchemwa. And Quada Mufien ebo formwa a year mushia a criminal prosecution no a underage sexual relationship no omu the ababy ye. Nefe sajinesi ye abaye abra rights groups for efre and kunimdia more dinipa adema a adolescent right no. Na sajin ana ruling eba ye eye center adema reproductive rights etina ho ema nkwada miensa omye Kenya teenagers nkwada miche omfie no ewo fam na omkoche ba ko a ne fie no edu enso a police fonsa so ne pechi a ukohu so one ono ankasa ne nyonko ne partner ono so wenya infie no edu ensia a yebo mo charger brofo kasem ye faka say defilement na we ni ensema Kenya court edituja.
In a landmark ruling, Kenya's High Court has declared that young people should no longer face criminal prosecution for consensual underage sexual relationships, a decision rights groups are calling a major victory for adolescent rights. The ruling came Wednesday after a case brought by the Center for Reproductive Rights on behalf of 3 Kenyan teenagers. One of them, a 17-year-old boy, was arrested after police found him living with his 16-year-old partner and charged him with defilement. Another teenage couple faced years of legal battles after becoming pregnant while underage. Kenyan law currently prescribes up to 15 years in prison for sex with minors aged between 16 and 18, but the court ruled that authorities must now distinguish between abusive relationships and consensual relationships involving teenagers. Judges also ordered the government to improve access to sexual and reproductive health education and services without fear of criminalization. Rights campaigners say the previous system pushed many young people
Yet one more Casabon so na ye the enijedi munsem and a share atwa so ede amamom. Na Musicians Union of Ghana ye trying to musiga and naturally send them modern at Nigeria. Adesha one ewa a one mushi upon no and wabepi more my Ghana ha. Nina a addition and some na one by yen a penina wada or manom a Professor Dabin Haruna Kichi Imni. And naturally sa wada or manona bra or by young moko apron and a Professor Dabin Eddie Etu Jasen. Wosha inka a share from a baby pium or my Ghana. Nina a Pansrahu, Jasoma Besheno master of my studies be Eddie Afahunina. Aquaquese, Eja, and Aquaquese, Eja, project work be a dear mom. I just a Professor Ashen. Edi enim edi omabana watch say we no enya ebibre my hand we say no my Ghana kwanom ba my chechom nti no kwa ebibre my hodo no so a student ra fa ne bi so so e wo ho am gusu sa project work no e wo e ho no na watch say we enya na edi kan ya Nigeria de hye no efi omusu apom e de aba my Ghana hwe kra we eto so impre n9 na we no eye homa panyini e na kire se ne nsa e sha se wa hwe ama wo mabaye ma panyini eye bola tinubu ya we Nigeria ma panyini o se etifi asem ana e se asentutura eda so ya ma panyini e hwe e de to sa aprobo ya wonom aba e de fa eye akwansra ho adesua no eye the Orange Economy and Entrepreneurship for Sustainable Development in Nigeria. Inteno no etrasama wonom e de nam eye akwansra ho adesua wonom e ba ye e wo oman Ghana emu entene Professor Dabin church mu na wo kire se we wo mo ba no mo ni penifo Nigeria penifo no ene Ghana penifo tutu ene Ministry of Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts and offensive agencies ahodo a ehye sa ohye no ase no ma hwe ene omom edi kasubomu atesomo di kitakude ama bibia doso toten ansa na wo mo ehye aba bepie mu wo man Ghana emu. Ebusia aha ena ebrebe makwan amayede kase bono nyina aba no ewie minim se eye wode eni se wo utrinko ewo TV no echi no naso so no ebre ni ti aha ena di nyina beba no wie na ye hwe ne edi mu akoten no ebie
yeah, Mammy Jane, I didn't send me out to just say Ghana economy, a bit to me a pigeon and why I'll say a share public transport.
Red of a free for all worry and the cocoa am if you run almost some share, Namco Piemu, our rent control department, Namco to me crat among to me, I'm almost a modern ama air tenants FO.
Ghana ambassador at my US, needed for to ama a year applicant, a yomoko for interview, no some more dressing, no montadi shemono, a ya watch bidding to Moshe, Namusisi.
Public Accounts Committee and the ato also offer what she is some ho and some say one share now therefore quite so pe bibi or be keep records and yes she chronic amphibia abino ho and some e ka what they know one share now start records on fan to her no be boam amankutego akoso dachi
Dom kuma eni dom kesiye na ehye yomo kire mu a eye by partisan no eye party B kabe yomo kambo na unemployment ekoso man Ghana me yetumi to ase enfi ho
Senator Jumekonde atudwa sensembia ne na mabe for 10 time no so en na nkrofo ano se mo hotel so mo hwe ato mo se ne kro biara enim na mfutro en na nkrofo bi pe ede guga na de hye eni so
Vice Chairman ede ma Endis Amanyoko no de futo kesiye ede ama eye Muslim fo no se be ya ankafi eye ede other afahye no obi anfa na ho hyem na onben alaye
Eye nwanya for Dominic Bonsu wa hwe e de eye generator kokoma e manso edubiase senior high school no so akokọ enigesem e de amawo
Yakobi man shebe ko Kenya efa enkwada omufie na wo fama omudi so nsa hom agrona de ade na aye omufesi eye criminal prosecution no omukira aba ewiye
Yedi mu bowura ewo enijedi wu insemu na musiga omashe ama Nigeria de sha wonom ewo Nigeria sha pa hodo no bobepie mo man Ghana omaba e akwansra ho animdia ma ba beje ho nimdia ho nsem wote wakasebo no enchechemu Ensem bi eka we ho na nwumre ma mienum yeje pene edeba wakwemu yede beto mo se ene nunsia kasebo ya to ne Paramount news no enti ede nyina aba no ewie na aseda PSC enfa enko emma edwuma yi kwa by Chief Apostle A Jackson daddy nyame enhira wo bibiara wo sanso ye managers osono oba TikTok oba Fanta teso bibia bi wo ho na chi na nim ahomeka ewo mu eye managers nana ya ohene wa nyame enhira onya okese wo so a hwe ye nyame enhira producer na lable lamte na be de chire eye Joyce Mensah ye ko eye editor enso so a eye Theodora Otis the birthday girl we belated etwe we related and I face so no Mary so a boy be MCR Andy Grant or Nana Opare and a share a chintin feed and come around so one a rich one a farm Quasi and an abedio chure canceling a share a boy and enumerate a mammy and sisters affairs and a share edicas away about Wakim. Mia, my name in your backing cancas away at the mouth midi and Shafatu Mohammed SM for short minimum your bar.
A marker sama for Yamasa, Yatamasi, Ama Monishe, Namia Dumatuada, ever says Sukunya, near the Casebono.
The long wait is over.